The 1200th Raw. Was it good? They tried very hard to make it good. Hear my point of view and see what you believe. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the qualifying matches. I want to get them over with. The first one I'm going to talk about is AJ's match versus Kevin Owens. Now, he's now broken up with the club. There's no more AJ Styles with the club. Luke and Carl no longer together. One, I believe, was a little too soon. I think they could have had the club together a little bit longer before they broke it up so quickly. I guess they believed that it ran its course. And as I said in my Extreme Rules review, AJ is out. They're just going to throw AJ to the wayside. I'll be glad if I'm wrong, but this is how it looks. At the very end of the show, you got AJ talking about the club. The club comes out. The club now breaks up. And AJ has his match and he gets his ass beaten by Kevin Owens. Mind you, I believe it was the best match of the night. But here's the problem for me. Just because the match has great quality does not mean you can't have a story to go with it. And AJ's story is bad now. I just feel like the WWE is dropping his ass on purpose. Yes, he's going to have a feud between Luke and Carl. That's going to happen. But I just don't believe AJ was ever meant to really succeed. And I know a lot of people who don't really like AJ, they'll probably say, well, that's fine. The WWE really doesn't like him that much. We don't like him too much because, hell, he's an old guy. He's like from TNA. Other people are going to believe, well, he deserves this because he worked his ass off in New Japan and TNA. And I believe this. AJ is a new breath of fresh air. I'm sorry, I botched. But I believe he did a good job. And I believe he can really do good here. Eventually, maybe 6 months to a year down the road, they could give him a championship. But I just don't believe WWE is going to do this. They just used him temporarily until Seth came back. And here's Seth Rollins. Opens the show. Crowd goes wild. They're happy to see him. And he acts like a heel. To be honest, this would have been better for him to do a face turn. But as a heel, he'll still get over to a certain extent. But to be honest, I think the crowd truly wanted him as a face and really run with it. By him staying a heel, I truly believe he has a problem. And it's going to show. And when it came to him and Steph, it was alright. But in the end, I just felt like Seth should be a face. And it should be given a long stretch of making a redemption thing. Kind of like what's going on with EC3. Next, The Miz versus Cesaro. Was it a good match? I liked it. Did I believe they did a good job? Yes. Do I believe The Miz was right to lose this? Yes. Because I did believe in my Extreme Rules review that Cesaro should have been the winner. When it came down to it, it should have either been Kevin Owens versus The Miz or Cesaro versus The Miz. It didn't need to be a big hodgepodge like that. And you guys tell me below, what happened to Money in the Bank for another title? We only got one title for Money in the Bank. Why couldn't it be two? Why couldn't the IC Championship have a title? Money in the Bank. You know what I mean? A Money in the Bank briefcase. We used to have the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE WWE title. What happened to having two separate titles that you build at the same time so that the IC Champion would feel like something relevant, just like the WWE World Heavyweight Champion? I'm just saying, this is kind of stupid. One Money in the Bank for 1 year. No two. No IC title run. No WWE World Heavyweight Champion run. With a briefcase is stupid. But it's okay. Sheamus versus Sami Zayn. I got something to say after this, but did I like the match? It was alright. Did I believe it was right for Sheamus to lose? Yes, because Apollo Crews, who also had a match, needed something to do. He's part of the new guard, and you gotta admit, Sheamus came out in 2009 to 10. He could be considered in the old guard. So the new and old guard have to clash. And Sheamus isn't really doing anything anyway. So I'm actually kind of glad to see Apollo Crews deal with a Sheamus. Old versus new. But I gotta say this. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to have all the gingers working together in the ginger brigade or the redhead brigade? Come on, think about it. Sheamus working with, well, see, an American, an Irishman, and a Canadian. All three of them are redheads. All three together. All three doing what they gotta do. We're redheads. We're hot-headed. And we kick everyone's ass. That actually sounds kind of interesting. What happened with New Day versus the Social Outcasts has been played out, to be honest. I mean, not the New Day. I'm saying this very clearly. New Day still interests me. New Day, I love them. The WWE World Tag Team Champions are still over. I'm alright with it. But when it came to the Social Outcasts and Heath Slater, Raw 1000, he was used to get other people over, get a little spotlight for himself. But after the second or third time, he just became a gimmick. Kind of like what happened with Kofi Kingston in the Royal Rumble. Always there has to be someone who does a weird spot. It used to be John Morrison, not John Morrison. John Morrison, then it became Kofi, and now you're getting this the same thing with Heath Slater, and I gotta say this, he's a bit underrated. I'm not saying he's a great wrestler, but he's underrated as a funny character. He can get a character over. He is funny. He can make something work. And to see him in this capacity is not bad, but it is kind of played. And I would like to see a little bit of a change for him. That's just me. I'm not a big Heath Slater fan, but I do believe there could be something that could be done. Now, you guys tell me, did you see Rusev this show? I didn't see him. That's why there's no picture of him. I'm just saying. Dolph versus Baron Corbin. Now, I'm only saying this because of Dolph versus Dean Ambrose. Why is it... why are you still having a fight between Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin? I don't get it. Did the Dean Ambrose match and the Dolph Ziggler match do what it needed to do? It did two things. It was showing that Dolph does have some ability to wrestle. And also kind of gave Dean a chance to highlight himself after what happened with Chris Jericho, which he did very good. And oh, I forgot to say, Chris was a pin cushion. You can see all of the spots he got on his back. Whew, he got messed up. But it was alright to see Dean. But going back to Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, I don't want to see it anymore. A technical wrestling match just doesn't feel like it's Baron Corbin's stick. It makes no sense. And you guys tell me below, 1, do you believe JoJo is incredibly short compared to these guys? And 2, is she incredibly cute? Damn it, she looks so cute. That's just me. Oh, I gotta say this. How far are they going to go with Darren Young and Mr. Bob Backlund? When are we going to see Bob Backlund come to the ring with Darren Young? That's what I want to see. Just seeing these segments in the back are good. But I want to see what Bob Backlund is willing to do. Will Bob Backlund allow Darren Young to take his move? I can't remember the name of it. The half Nelson chicken wing, if I'm correct. I cannot remember. The half Nelson chicken wing. Will Darren Young be allowed to use it? Will he actually go to the ring and use it? Will Bob Backlund be with him? Mr. Bob Backlund. Gotta be very precise. The guy deserved Mr. He almost tried to become president for the WWE. All hail Mr. Bob Backlund. But will he come to the ring with Darren Young? Will the cross-face chicken wing? I believe that's the original name. I forgot it. It had been so long. I want to see something go on. Now, let's see. The thing I believe is the most important, and that is Charlotte broke... Oh my goodness. Charlotte broke Rick's heart. I think that's the name I'm going to use. We knew that was eventually going to happen, that Charlotte has to break away from Rick. It has to happen. But I didn't expect it to be like this. Did I believe Charlotte did a good job? I kind of feel like this kind of went a little farther than Charlotte expected, because I think some real emotion kind of came out in her. Because, let's be honest, Rick is not one of the greatest men that ever lived when it came to his children. His kids kind of got a little screwed over in the process, along with some of his wives. That happens in wrestling business. People have a tendency to cheat on their women because they're always around a whole bunch of women, or because the road really plays on the relationship between a man and a woman who's in the wrestling business, and eventually both sides break away. So it's kind of understandable if she did actually get emotional in this, and it sounded like she did honestly get a little emotional. Some of it is a work. She wanted to make it a little more than what it was, but I think maybe some of it she actually did get a little upset because, well, her dad really wasn't there. And a lot of times he's moved on from one woman to another, and along with his mom, it had to be a little bit there. And Rick, to his credit, tried to make it important, tried to make himself really look sympathetic. Will this translate to true heel heat for Charlotte? Yes. Will Rick get sympathy for this? Oh yes, he will. And that's why I feel like there's a little worry for me, because we could have more sympathy for Rick as a face than we're going to have Charlotte really fucking her dad over and becoming a more worse heel than expected. I am so hoping that we didn't tip the scales where Rick is more cared about than Charlotte, because this is not what we want. We want Charlotte to get over as a heel, a very cruel heel who basically on international television, worldwide television, say, "Daddy, fuck you. I'm better than you. You were the one who fucked me over as a little kid because you weren't there. Go suck a dick." I'm sorry to talk nasty, but in a sense, that's what she's trying to say. And as beloved as Rick is to everyone, this is what really could be. And I'm hoping that it didn't go too far and she lost a little bit of the heat she can gain and Rick gets more pops than he should. Was this a 1200 Raw that I enjoyed? To an extent, yes. Enzo Amore, I'm not going to talk about the match because it's not important. Seeing Enzo Amore, oh, Enzo Amore, hey, how you doing? I got a problem. I didn't pay my light bill. I got my lights knocked out. That was funny. Good to see him back. I don't know if he can wrestle yet. Maybe because he's able to travel, but they said he can't really wrestle yet. That's why he's like that. I could be wrong. I'll be glad if he's wrestling again. But now, seeing him back is great. That was the highlight of the show next to New Day. To be honest, that was the thing I liked the most. But this is just my point of view. How about you? And I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. I might actually do a review of Shane McMahon talking with Mick Foley. That might be the next video I'm going to kick out before my TNA review. You guys have a good day and have a good night. Peace out!